Okay, I'm going to get right into it. I'm just going to try to pack everything into this video. It's my last one, so I have a lot to say, so here we go. I was just finishing off in the last video talking about Mark Wahlberg and having the third eye. I finished off by saying that the left eye is symbolic of the moon and the right eye represents the sun. So I thought at the time on November 9th, with the passing of the asteroid U-55, I thought that was something at that time. But this was an incredible dream by far, because 9/11 was just all over it. It was just those two numbers, and that was like my 9/11 dream, I would say. So it's definitely very significant. But so on to the next dream on November 3rd. This was just a quick dream. I call it the antichrist dream. I remember standing in my living room and looking out the window. I was shaking with fear and felt that I had to put my hands over my head as if something was going to fall on me. I hesitated at first, but then I finally looked up and out the window again, and there was coming slowly a gigantic ship right into my neighborhood. I thought it would crush all the buildings around it, but it didn't cause any damage. I saw the front of the ship, dark and vast, with a large white mast. It had a vintage look and a warship-like feel to it. I started to calm down, but I was still in a state of shock. Then this doll, or plastic figure, appeared on the floor in front of me. I can only describe it as if it was a figure of a wrestler or a gladiator, very muscular for my boys to play with. The only thing was that the head was missing. Suddenly, without warning, it flew straight up into the air and just froze midair. Instantly, it turned into what looked like a king. Fully adorned with a gold crown, white garments, red robe, and boots. Very much like, I don't know if you guys know the character for the Burger King commercials. It looked just like that. So, did the phrase, the rise of the Antichrist, come into your mind? It did for me. So that was it. And again, this was probably, when I had this dream, it was a reflection of this oncoming asteroid U-55 again, since they said it was the size of an aircraft carrier, which is why I probably dreamt about that very large ship. So, and then Revelations 8 came to mind after I had the dream. To be more specific, verses 8 and 9. Then the second angel sounded, and something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea, and a third of the sea became blood, and a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. All this before wormwood. I was getting ready for bed after that dream, after I read that passage, and for some reason, I just said to myself in my head, will it be like Revelation 8? And right at that moment, my lamp on my nightstand flickered. The light flickered. So I don't know if that was a confirmation from the Lord, but at the time, we thought that something was going to happen with this asteroid, and obviously nothing came of it. So who knows what it was? Well, who knows what the Lord was trying to tell me? Maybe the flickering light was for something else, but I just felt like I had to say that. I put that down. Okay. Next dream on November 7th, I had a word vision, Arkansas, but the first three letters, A-R-K, ARK, stood out, which I thought was something. And now on to the next dream, November 8th, which was the next day. Something about Ezekiel's wheel. And I actually thought of the song from Carrie Underwood, Jesus Take the Wheel. So that came into my head as well. November November 16th. This was a strange dream that I had. I'm just going to read it off. I was standing high on a hillside, overlooking a scenery of green rolling hills and valleys, very pretty and peaceful. I saw a crossroads, not a fork in the road, but two long winding paths that X'd into each other and back out. On one end, one of the paths curved behind one of the hills, and while the other end led downhill. I stood there anticipating what was to come at any moment. Suddenly, there was a type of bicycle with 3 wheels, and this was a dream. I'll have to just mention that there was many 3s in this dream, especially triple 3s, and I will read it to you in a minute. So I saw a 3-wheel bicycle, tricycle, the ones that you recline when you ride in it. There was a funny-looking fan flapping in front of the rider while it sped up and around the curved path. There was a man standing behind me. I asked if that was cool. He repeated quietly the word, and then I proclaimed it to be cool. So I mentioned cool and question mark. He said cool in response, and then I said the word cool again for the 3rd time out loud. And then came more cyclists with smaller bikes and tricycles all heading downhill. I looked at the hills again and smiled at how much fun the riders were having. I glanced over to where the road ended, thinking that they were headed towards the beach. And I thought, wow, okay. I looked up, I wrote down the words cool. And if you figure it out in the order of the alphabet, the word cool is actually adds up to 333. So I mentioned 333 3 times. So I think that's a big thing. So that was my 333 dream. Okay. Alrighty, I'm sorry I'm rushing, but I'm trying to pack everything in because I just had a lot of dreams, and I just really think that I just never had dreams like this, so I'm amazed. The man, by the way, he was Asian. He had silvery gray hair, rectangular bifocals, but I didn't know who he was. Some type of figure who just happened to be with me in the dream. So now we're going to move on to the most strangest of dreams, where I mentioned the pattern of M names that started it off. This was like the bulk of the M names in this dream. So here we go. I was in a house. It was a bi-level house, and this was Thanksgiving, by the way. It was really clean, and the interior was warm white all over. I was hosting a party for President Obama and his family. I myself was wearing a beautiful white gown, almost like a wedding dress. What stood out about my dress was how bright white it was compared to the interior of the house. So I'm walking around the house and checking out the groups of people in the different rooms, as well as the backyard, looking out from an unusually wide and crystal clear bay window that curved around to a half-moon shape. This is reminiscent of the Noah's Ark dream. It was the same kind of window, except it didn't have the panes, separation. It was just one smooth, curved window. The grass in the backyard had such a rich green color to it and very sharp in detail. I saw a soccer ball just sitting in the grass while the people mingled about. In the particular room I was in, the bathroom. It was open for all to see inside, both for men and women, and I actually lifted my dress to sit on the toilet while I looked outside through the window. So I appear in the bedroom to see Malia Obama, the younger daughter, wearing a black dress. She looked very elegant. She had an embarrassing problem, though, and tried to whisper it to me. She couldn't control her bowel movements, so she ended up with a mess, and let's say that I actually smelled it. So I went to get help for her. I bump into Mariah Carey next. So we have Mariah Carey. Gave her a hug and told her that I was always her fan since day one, which is true. Then I head for the stairs and I nervously walk by Obama, but he didn't acknowledge me, so that was a good thing, I guess. I went downstairs and caught a glimpse of Michael J. Fox as he walked to go up the stairs. And at the bottom of the stairway was a woman who I saw from behind. I didn't know who she was at first, but she seemed familiar. She was talking to two other people, but her words were slurring and she was swaying as if she was trying to balance herself. I thought, okay, she's drunk. She turns around and it's Michelle Bachmann. My mouth dropped. I was surprised to see her acting that way. I also heard her tell people she was talking to that she was going to join the Army or Marines. I couldn't remember which one. Very strange. So here we go. 4 M's. Malia, Mariah, Michael, and Michelle. And Barack Obama was just the one who had the different name. But what I wrote at the end was that I felt strangely peaceful at this party. So that was my Thanksgiving dream. And actually that night, I don't know if the watchers have been paying attention to this as well, but I know specifically Sackcloth Ashes. Kajani, he saw the same star and he made a video about it that I saw that night. I actually saw it Thursday night. It was a flickering star. It was so big, and I saw it from my bathroom window, and it was flickering different colors. And I probably watched it for like maybe almost 5 minutes, and by the time I realized I need to get a camera, I missed it. So I ran back and it wasn't there anymore. It completely disappeared, which I thought was amazing. But there was a lot of other videos and people posting on the internet about it after that. And everyone saw it just within days apart. So that was amazing. Alrighty then. We're making good timing, I think, maybe. So those are the dreams that I had, and I didn't get to mention an airport dream. I call it the airport-rapture dream. And this was probably back in September. I wish I dated this one as well. I never mentioned it anywhere, but I remembered it clearly. I'm just going to read it out. I was standing in front of a TSA agent at the airport, near the conveyor belt. I was waiting for my bag to get checked. I looked to my right and saw an elevator. The doors open and out comes my 2 sons and husband. My 4-year-old started running, heading towards the gate where our flight is. My husband was chasing him while my 7-year-old ran behind them. The gate had double glass doors and it was so bright out that when my 4-year-old opened the door, the light came in and it was so white and bright and just kept getting brighter and brighter. They went out and I couldn't see them anymore. I smiled the whole time, as if I knew we were where we were headed. I thought that was maybe a possible rapture dream because the Mark Wahlberg dream comes in again, the movie Departed, how I took the word departure and I turned it around to say the rapture. So I thought that was cool. So that is it, and I just made good timing. I had another dream that I had back in May. So I just found out about. It was probably another rapture dream. And I don't think I will have time to say it, but it was just basically I was flying around. I was back in my old apartment. Everybody was wearing white. My mother and mother-in-law were included in this dream. And it was kind of like a reunion in some way. So that's just the only way I can summarize it. I was flying around and I was wearing white, and so was everybody else. Thank you.